Welcome to everybody. I'm glad everybody had safe travels. Kind of a nasty morning out there. At this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Clerk Barger, if you will, please call the roll.
Master Combs.
Here.
Master Barger.
Here.
Master Tudor.
Here.
Master Botkin.
Present.
Judge Taylor.
Here. At this time, Magistrate John Tudor is going to lead us in a word of prayer.
Let's pray, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to meet here today and make decisions to better help this county. We pray that these decisions will be guided by you in all that we say and all that we do, Lord. We pray for our country. We pray for our leaders, Lord, in this difficult time that we're facing the coronavirus. We pray that our health departments and our CDCs will find a cure for this and we can stop it before it gets out of hand, Lord. We pray that all of our citizens will be vigilant, will not panic over this disease. We pray that for the safety of our first responders. We pray for everyone involved, Lord, and we give you thanks for Jesus Christ and all that he has done in our lives. Be with us. We ask in your precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, John. Sheriff, if you will, lead us in the pledge.
Everyone, please stand, face our flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated.
Thanks, Sheriff. Guys, y'all had a chance to look over our minutes from our meeting that was on February the 25th, 2020 at the Madison County Fiscal Courtroom. If y'all approve those minutes, I need a motion and a second, please.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Tudor.
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Treasurer's report will be at the next fiscal court meeting. It's always on the fourth Tuesday. First order of business today is second reading of ordinance 2009. This is a zone change at 1650 Berea Road from UC1 residential to UC4 general commercial. Push that button if you don't mind, Bert. There's a little round button at the bottom. There you go. It's red. It's red. Should be it. Good morning, buddy.
Good morning.
Appreciate you being here today.
So this is an ordinance of the Madison County Fiscal Court of Kentucky approving the zone change of 1650 Berea Road, Richmond, Kentucky, and authorizing the amendment of the official zoning map of Madison County, Kentucky. This is a change from UC1 to UC4. The Planning Commission had a public hearing. Their findings of fact were as follows: that the existing zoning classification is inappropriate and the proposed zoning classification is appropriate for the following reasons. The changes made to the character and area of the property due to the condemnation action make UC1 a non-viable use of this property, and that the character of the surrounding area in this property are more suitable for general commercial purposes as the subject property is within the urban corridor and surrounded and in close proximity to other properties used for general commercial purposes. So to remind everybody, this is the property there on Berea Road, just past Duncannon, on the right as you're coming towards Berea from Richmond. Just tore a house down there not recently. As part of the right-of-way acquisition for the widening of 25, their estate project, made this really an unsuitable lot for anything, certainly for residential. It makes it a substandard lot under our.
It looks a lot better.
It does. They cleaned it up good.
Yeah.
Is this where that little metal building was that maybe had a used car lot too, or
Just beyond that. They
So
just
it's
tore a
just the old
down.
house
It's the one that
that
kind
was
of
there. Yeah.
goes down to that drain. Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, all right, all right.
So this is in the 4th District, Judge, and I didn't have any complaints or calls about it one way or another, and it is suitable for what they're.
Right, yeah.
For the rezone.
Well, that whole area, we just did a zone change on up Duncannon a little ways, just right around the corner from that for.
And on 25, we did one a couple lots down.
Yeah, we did for the factory there that had that house. Yep, that's good. All right, if y'all affirm second reading of ordinance 2009, zone change 1650 Berea Road, UC1 residential to UC4 general commercial. I need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion by my Ashford's? All right. Seeing none, at this time, is there anybody from the public that would like to get up and speak on behalf of this zone change at this time? This has been advertised in the paper to give public notice of the second reading of the zone change. All right. Seeing none, let's call the roll, please.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Tudor.
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bert. Appreciate it. Next, Resolution 2017. It's application and administration of FY 2019 Assistant to Firefighters Grant Funds. This is a resolution for application and administration of fiscal year 2019 Department of Homeland Security, Federal Emergency Management Agency, Grant Programs Directorate, Assistance to Firefighters Grant Funds. Whereas the fiscal year 2019 Department of Homeland Security, Federal Emergency Management Agency, Grant Programs allows eligible communities to apply for operations and safety, 2 vehicle acquisition, and 3 regional projects. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court, Kentucky desires to make an application for FY 2019 assistance to firefighters grant funds, and whereas the County of Madison, Kentucky wishes to authorize the Judge Executive to make application for fiscal year 2019 assistance to firefighter grant funds, and if the application is successful, to enter into an agreement with the Department of Homeland Security, Federal Emergency Management Agency, and grant programs to administer the FY 2019 Assistance to Firefighter Grant Funds Award, to execute any documents which are deemed necessary to facilitate and administer the award, to act as the authorized correspondent for this award, and whereas the total amount of assistance to firefighters fiscal year 2019 grant funding available nationwide is $315 million, and the projected number of awards is 2,500, and the amount Madison County would receive, if any, will not be determined until the award date on April 30th, 2020. And whereas Madison County is applying for a portion of the available assistance to firefighter grant funding to purchase rescue equipment in the operation and safety category, and whereas there is a 10% local hard match required. So if y'all approve in Resolution 2017 to apply for the fiscal year 2019 assistance to firefighters grant funds, I need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion this time, guys? All right, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bucket?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thanks, guys. Next, Resolution 2018, application and administration for 2020-2021 Kentucky Energy and Environment Cabinet of Waste Management Grant Funds. A resolution for application and administration of 2020-2021 Kentucky Energy and Environment Cabinet Division of Waste Management, Kentucky Pride Fund, Household Hazardous Waste Management Grant Funds. Whereas the 2020-2021 Kentucky Energy and Environment Cabinet Division of Waste Management, Kentucky Pride Fund Household Hazardous Waste Management Grant allows units of local government to apply for grant funding to be used to cover the cost of vendor services for the collection and proper management of household hazardous waste and for advertising costs associated with the collection event. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court, Kentucky desires to make an application for the Kentucky Energy Environment Cabinet Division of Waste Management, Kentucky Pride Fund Household Hazardous Waste Management Grant Funds. Man, that's a long name. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court wishes to authorize the Judge Executive to make applications for the grant, and if the application is successful, to enter into the agreement with the Division of Waste Management to administer the 2021 grant, if awarded, to execute any documents which are deemed necessary to facilitate and administer the award, to act as the authorized correspondent for this award. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is requesting household hazardous management grant funds in the amount of $20,000 to be expended during the grant period of July 1, 2020 to June 30th, 2021. And whereas there is a 25% local match required, which can be in kind and or cash. And guys, we do apply for this every year, and that's how we get our hazardous, household hazardous waste Saturday that was typically in the fall, I believe, isn't it, Scott?
It's actually the first Saturday of October.
First Saturday of October.
October the 3rd.
Yep. Thanks, Scott. If you all affirm Resolution 2018 on the application and administration of the 2020-2021 Kentucky Energy and Environment Cabinet of Waste Management Grant Funds, I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion?
Judge, I think this is a good thing we can be involved with. Almost every household has some waste that they need to dispose of, and always know how to get rid of it. So at least one day out of the year, they're directed on how to dispose of some hazardous waste that they might have on hand, paint and so forth, chemicals and.
I think that brings up a good point. Scott, do you mind to come up to the mic and just sort of maybe just give an overview of, and I don't necessarily mean to put you on the spot, but I know you don't mind. But maybe just go ahead and be announcing in case there's citizens out there that maybe have some of these type products and they might not know and they can hold off and be waiting till that first October.
Okay, basically what we do, we have a professional service comes in. They will take pesticides, any type of oil-based paint. Big misperception about paints is any latex paint you can throw away at any time. If you will put cat litter in it or sawdust, something to dry it up, you can dispose of that any time. That is not a hazardous waste material. But if it's oil-based, you can bring it to us. Any type of acids, any type of oil, if you have used oil around your house or farm, we take that at that time. And then we've also added a little something unique where we're taking old electronics. So we actually recycle them all throughout the year, but we will take them on that day too. And you can bring them to the Road South location and we will dispose of those for you.
What about like thermometers?
Thermometers, you can bring them. They do have mercury in them. Basically how the event works, when you pull up in your vehicle, we had the biggest success last year that we've ever had in the history of the county. You just tell us what you have in your car and we will have stations set up around the lot and you will actually drive that to that station and the professionals will unload your car and dispose of whatever you have.
Wow.
So yes, we do take thermometers at that time.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it. Appreciate the update. Anything else at this time, guys?
What was that date again?
October 3rd.
3rd. Thank you.
And it's typically from what, like 9 to 12 or
9 to 3 this year.
9 to 3? 9 to 3. Thanks. All right. If no other discussion, call the roll, please.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bucking?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Berger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next is Resolution 2019. This is Madison County Public Library Board appointment. A resolution for the appointment of the Madison County Fiscal Court to the Madison County Public Library Board, whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is responsible for the appointment of Madison County Public Library Board members, and whereas a vacancy on the Madison County Public Library Board is open, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has found Charles Hay as fit for the position as a board member of the Madison County Public Library Board of Directors. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve Charles Hay as a Madison County Public Library Board member. His term will be from, it will expire, I should say, January 1st, 2023. If y'all approve in Resolution 2019, Madison County Public Library Board appointment of Charles Hay, I need a motion and a second, please.
Move to appoint Charles Hay for the Madison County Library Board.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Bucking?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Berger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next, Resolution 2020, Madison County EMS Board appointment. A resolution for the appointment of Madison County Fiscal Court to the Madison County EMS Board, whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is responsible for the appointment of Madison County EMS Board members, and whereas a vacancy on the EMS Board is open, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has found Leisha Hayes as fit for the position as a board member of the Madison County EMS Board of Directors. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve Leisha Hayes as Madison County EMS Board member. And I do want to make a note that this is the a nomination from Berea City Council. So Berea City Council actually gets to recommend somebody to represent based off of KRS 108.110. And then we just basically affirm that because we are the governing body that actually appoints those board members. So,
Make a motion that we approve and appoint Lisa Hayes to the EMS Board.
all right. I have a motion. I have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Berger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bucking?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next, Resolution 2021. This is an MOU with the Kentucky Department of Military Affairs for Disaster Communications. Hi, buddy.
Morning, sir. Morning, everybody. Let's see. You want to read the resolution, and I'll just fill
I
in?
can, sure.
Yeah.
Be glad to. A resolution approving an MOU with Kentucky Department of Military Affairs for disaster communications. Whereas the Madison County CSEP program will be permitted to operate on the Department of Military Affairs radio frequencies, and whereas the Madison County CSEP program may need an efficient and effective form of statewide communication for emergency situations. And whereas the Madison County CSEP program team has researched available sources and conclude that the partnership with the Department of Military Affairs radio communication system will improve the operations of emergency management and will be in the best interest of protection for Kentucky citizens and first responders, which is attached hereto this resolution. And now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court, that this resolution is hereby approved and that the county judge executive is hereby authorized to execute same on behalf of the fiscal court.
So this is separate from the radio system we operate. This is a avenue for large-scale events, mutual aid events, like the CSEP program or large emergency management event, so that we could communicate to other counties as they come in and out, plus to the state entity, Kentucky Emergency Management. This is something I think we do every 2 years. I'm not sure if it's been done in the past, but it's an every 2-year thing, and it basically gives us the ability to program some of our radios on their statewide system.
So this is a radio that would be used by first responders and officials?
Yes,
in that
yes, sir.
capacity?
Yep.
I move we approve.
Okay. I have a motion to approve Resolution 2021, an MOU with Kentucky Department of Military Affairs for disaster communications. Thanks, Larry. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion at this time? Do you have any questions? Dustin, could you give an example of maybe where this potentially comes into play? I mean,
Yeah, so every year we do a statewide earthquake exercise for the New Madron Fault. So, for instance, we may or may not be affected by an earthquake on the New Madron, but regardless, we would support those counties to the west if we were not affected. And that communication would be vital as our resources move west, so that they can communicate when they're out on that part of the state.
right. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that.
You bet.
If no other discussion, call the roll.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next, Resolution 2022. This is an MOU with the Kentucky Department of Transportation for the use of a training room. A resolution approving an MOU with Kentucky DOT for use of a training room, whereas the Kentucky Department of Transportation has requested a facility to hold traffic school, and whereas the Madison County CSEP program is willing to provide the Kentucky Department of Transportation with access to the Joint Information Center or other stated available training facilities to hold traffic school when openings allow, which is attached here to this resolution. And now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court, that this resolution is hereby approved and that the county judge executive is hereby authorized to execute same on behalf of the fiscal court. If I could have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2022, the MOU with the Kentucky Department of Transportation for the use of a training room.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Dustin, I do want to I was reading over this agreement,
sir.
and the agreement right now is between the Madison County, or the Transportation Cabinet and the Madison County Emergency Operations Center.
Yes.
And I think that really should be the Madison County Fiscal Court,
We can get that adjusted.
and need to make that adjustment before we sign anything here, so you
bet.
can. do
Yeah,
that.
this is just them utilizing our facility. They called and asked. So
Yeah, no, I think that's good, but
Okay.
they can't really make
Got
it.
room, haven't you, Dustin?
Yeah, yes, sir. They're quite flexible. We're going to give them a schedule, and they're going to work through our schedule and their schedule. This is just some formalized paperwork for them, but absolutely, I can get that changed, Judge.
Well, the agreement would be with nobody, because,
Yeah,
you know.
it needs to be with emergency management
right.
or you. Yes.
Yep. Yep, thank you. Any other discussion at this time? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next, Resolution 2023, approving an annual notification requirement for the FMC Berea and the Madison County Emergency Management. Let me read it.
Yeah.
A resolution approving an annual notification requirement for the FMC Berea and Madison County Emergency Management, whereas the Madison County Emergency Management Agency recognizes that given an emergency disruption of service, the Madison County Emergency Management Agency will be assisting and providing special assistance as available and applicable for the, can you help me pronounce that word?
Fresenius Medical Care. You're looking at,
Fresenius?
yes.
Fresenius Medical Care, FMC, in Berea, and whereas the Madison County Emergency Management Agency will work to provide priority as available and applicable assistance via power restoration, communication, security, supplies, water, fuel, sandbags, and occasionally transport, which is attached here to this resolution. And now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court, that this resolution is hereby approved, and that the county judge executive is hereby authorized to execute same on behalf of the fiscal court.
So moved.
So I have a motion to approve the resolution 2023 approving an annual notification requirement for the FMC Berea and Madison County Emergency Management.
Second.
Have a second. Could you give us a little bit
You bet.
of an explanation on this, please?
Yeah, so this is a annual requirement for them as part of their insurance and the federal government's requirements of them to notify emergency management and the Emergency Operations Center, one and the same for us, that if there is a need and it's in some type of disaster, that they've communicated to us what their needs are and that we would help to support those needs. Obviously, as we all know, and we've communicated with them, that situations dictate certain things, certain priorities have certain things, but that we are aware of their situation and their needs as of today so that we can facilitate coordination and the resources they need in the event of a major disaster.
Okay. Thank you.
If available.
If available, yep. Yep, absolutely.
All right.
If you look at their agreement, Judge, I mean, they're asking for a whole lot of things on that second page that
Yep.
I was just wondering how you were intending to supply all that to them because it's quite
So-
demanding and quite lengthy on what they're asking.
Yeah, so, given a major disaster, the judge and the cities would declare a disaster, which then would facilitate the state doing the same, and then getting those federal resources. And once we hit all those thresholds, we're going to start to bring in resources from outside, and that's how we're going to have to do those things. We did that ice storm in 2009 as a similar situation where we had to get some generators for certain, I think, water treatment facilities or the pumping houses for the water system. So, we have coordination. We have working through the state. We can put in those requests for those resources, and then it trickles down through that.
They are obviously already have a generator, it looks like.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of their
Automatic
basic
switches.
needs are met. It's prolonged events.
Right. Okay. I have a motion, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master, excuse me, Master Bakken?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next is Resolution 2024. This is the same thing, but this is the FMC for Richmond. Again, it's approving an annual notification requirement for the FMC Richmond and Madison County Emergency Management Agency. So if y'all approve in Resolution 2023 approving the FMC of Richmond and the Madison County Emergency Management, I need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Have a
I'm
motion?
just curious, Judge. My memory's not good as it used to be, obviously, but this is an annual thing. I don't remember approving this last year or the year before or the year before. Or
No,
the
we
year
haven't.
before.
I believe it was approved last year. We can go back through the records, but I'll double check that.
Okay. Yeah, we still continue to find things that we're still tweaking.
Yeah.
That should have been done in the past and haven't.
Well, it's good. I mean, obviously, we want to help hospitals and emergency operation centers and things like that if we have the resources. to do
Resources,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, it puts that, it talks about, hey, how we start reaching out for those resources, not just from the resources of Madison County.
Right.
in those large disasters.
Well, don't we have an extra generator at the fire department? That's yours,
Which fire department's that?
number 2?
I believe that's going to be put at that fire station.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. It was a generator off of a former, or a replacement that we did with the tower sites for the communication system. So, yeah.
I knew it'd been sitting there a long time and I didn't know.
Yeah, we actually utilized all those that came off that and put them at all of our volunteer fire stations. Because obviously those are good places to have those type of things because they become little community hubs in case of emergency or when you do have an ice storm, when power's down. We can utilize those facilities to be a soup kitchen or whatever, if we needed to for those people in that community. So I have a motion, a second for resolution 2024. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next is resolution 2025. This is approving bid award contract to Safer Service for the CSEP outdoor siren systems. A resolution approving a bid award contract to Safer Services for CSEP outdoor siren system. Whereas the Madison County CSEP program requires multiple systems to be able to alert the public in an emergency, and whereas the Madison County CSEP program has utilized an outdoor siren radio alert system before, and whereas the Madison County CSEP program needs an upgrade to a more cost-effective and reliable system capable of alerting the public for multiple emergencies, which will replace the current outdoor sirens. And whereas the Madison County CSEP program team has researched this and concluded that a contract with Safer Services would be in everyone's best interest for the remainder of the CSEP program and beyond, which is attached here to this resolution. And now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court that this resolution is hereby approved and that the Madison County Judge Executive is hereby authorized to execute same on behalf of the fiscal court.
So some time ago in January, we brought the bids to fiscal court, and you guys authorized us to go into negotiations with Safer Services. Coming out of those negotiations, myself, the team at EMA, along with Chris Israel and his team, have reviewed this. We believe that the best way to go is with Safer Services. We're going to go with a system that has 70 sirens, so we're going to reduce ourselves from 90 down to 70, but provide the exact same coverage area. We're going to utilize sirens that rotate instead of just the omnidirectional sirens. So our goal here is one, we continue to have the same system, the same capability that we have today to protect the public both in a CSEP incident or accident and the weather events that we utilize them for on a daily basis, but to also reduce the future cost. Our sirens already are solar powered and will continue to be solar powered. But we believe by going to these rotating sirens, we will reduce the cost that we see in the maintenance. We have quite a few, there's amplifiers in those stacks, and we go through a lot of those. And we believe going this direction will reduce that cost and maintenance for the county in the future post-CSEP.
All right. Thanks, Dustin. At this time, do I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2025 approving Safer Services with the contract on our CSEP outdoor siren system?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
So I see they have a $52,000 maintenance contract. Is that obviously a cost plus?
Yes.
Right.
That's above and beyond the 1.8.
So 52,000 we're paying for a tech, and then we pay for parts on top of that.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Dustin, do you have any estimate on what the cost would be after the CSEP program's over with
So
for us to maintain them?
yeah, so we have a lot of things we're still looking at in the maintenance side of things. That 52,000 gives us a high level of maintenance and services. That's two complete services a year. That's services on our computer system and all of that goes along with that. We believe that post CSEP, a lot of that can be transferred over to our IT department and possibly some other departments to maintain those post-CSEP, reducing that maintenance cost. So yeah, there's some parts. We believe that going from the type of siren we have now to the rotating siren will reduce our cost in parts. Obviously, there's always going to be cost in parts, but we don't have a good idea on those parts costs, obviously, because we don't have that siren today. We can obviously develop that over the next 4.5 years, but from what we see and what we know today, we believe there's a lot of reduction. So I think we can come off of that 52,000 post CSEP.
Maybe as much as half, you think, Dustin?
I honestly can't tell you exact number, but I think we will be able to come off of 52. Yeah.
Do they maintain a stock with you, or do they bring their stuff when they come? They bring the parts when they come?
Yeah, EMA CSEP maintains a stock, and we will be able to purchase a stock along with this contract.
Yeah, one time we had a hard time getting parts. Now, that's when y'all stepped in and said we would stock them.
Yeah, yeah.
A bunch of parts in stock.
It'd be good to, and I know you do it anyway, but it would be good to keep a good record on that when it is time to turn it over, so we could know what the cost is going to be on that.
Absolutely, we can do that, and I think coming into the new type of system that'll help us facilitate that question for you.
All right. Anything else at this time, guys? Do we have a motion and a second yet? We do. All right, so let's call the roll.
Mr. Barger?
Yes.
Mr. Tudor?
Yes.
Mr. Buckin?
Yes.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thanks, Dustin.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it. Next is personnel at the golf course. Good morning, Gary.
Morning. Just have a small packet here. Start with Donnie Helton, seasonal outside card attendant, $7.50 an hour, start date of March 11th.
Guys, there's several of these. This is the time of year where we have all of our seasonal employees at the golf course. So we do have several of these today. So the recommendation is Donnie Helton, $7.50 an hour as a seasonal outside card attendant. Start date is tomorrow, March 11th, 2020.
Judge, I move to hire Donnie Helton as a seasonal outside card attendant for the cost of $7.50 per hour.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Tudor?
Yes.
Mr. Buckin?
Yes.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Barger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Alrighty, next is Daniel Wood, also a seasonal outside card attendant, $7.78 an hour, 3/11/2020.
All right. If y'all approve Gary's recommendation on Daniel Wood, I need a motion and a second, please.
So move.
Second.
And I'm assuming the difference in hourly wages, this employee has
He's
worked.
returning
He's
employee.
returning employee. Yep.
Yes.
All right. Just want to clarify, make sure. All right. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Buckin?
Yes.
Mr. Combs? Mr. Barger?
Yes.
Mr. Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
All right, next is David Hall. He's a returning employee, also seasonal outside card attendant, $8.30 an hour, start date March 11th.
If y'all approve the recommendation by Gary, I need a motion and a second, please.
So move.
Second.
No discussion, call the roll.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Barger?
Yes.
Mr. Tudor?
Yes.
Mr. Buckin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Okay, next is Carl McCray, also returning seasonal outside card attendant, $7.78 an hour, March 11th, 2020.
He'd been with you a while, hadn't he?
Yes, he has, yeah.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion to hire Carl McCray as recommended. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second? No further discussion, call the roll.
Mr. Barger?
Yes.
Mr. Tudor?
Yes.
Mr. Buckin?
Yes.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Go ahead.
Next is James Collins, returning employee seasonal outside card attendant, $7.78 an hour, March 11th, 2020.
If you approve the recommendation by Gary on James Collins, I need a motion and a second, please.
So move.
Have a motion?
Second.
I have a second. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Tudor?
Yes.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Okay, next is Timothy Freeman, returning seasonal outside cart attendant, $7.78 an hour, March 11th, 2020.
Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Okay, almost there. Next is Tony Browning. He's a new seasonal grounds crew, $9.50 an hour, 3/11/2020.
So move.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
All right, next is Rodney Hester. He's a new seasonal grounds crew employee, $9.50 an hour, March 11th, 2020.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any further discussion?
Gary, groundskeeper, is that mowing the yards and doing all the
All the course maintenance,
course
yes.
maintenance around the holes and everything?
Sand bunkers,
Sand bunkers,
green mowing, tee
rough
boxes.
mowing,
Fertilizer and chemical?
fertilizing. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Call the roll, please.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Next is William Carr. He's a returning seasonal grounds crew employee, $9.50 an hour, March 12th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Next is Andrew Crowder. He's a returning seasonal grounds crew employee, $9.50 an hour, March 12th, 2020.
So move to hire Andrew Crowder.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second? Any further discussion?
What was the salary, Judge?
$9.50.
$9.50.
$9.50.
You looking for early spring, aren't you?
I'm sorry?
You must be looking for early spring.
Yeah. Oh, there's plenty of cleanup to be done on the course right now.
Okay.
And believe it or not, I don't think a month has gone by where we haven't had to cut part of the course. It grew all winter.
Yeah. All right. Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
And last, Caswell Patton, he's a new seasonal golf shop attendant, $8 an hour, March 11th, 2020.
Yeah, he's been added late.
Okay.
If he wasn't on there.
Most hired Caswell Patton for $8 an hour, March the 11th.
Thanks, Tom. I have a motion there. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
That's it.
Thanks, Gary. And I do want to make note that not all those are full-time either. That's why there's a lot of
Correct.
times so many, because,
Right. On average, the cart attendants work about 2 shifts a week, 6 hours each shift. Grounds crew, they do 40 hours a week. Pro shop attendant, 2 or 3 shifts a week, about
week,
6 hours each shift.
yep. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your patience on that. Next is a judge's report. Do want to make a few announcements. First and foremost, I want to thank Berea Council for allowing us to use this, the first fiscal court meeting of every odd month. It is nice to get to come down to Berea and kind of get out of Richmond and be down here in the southern end of the county. There will be an All-Timers Association Community Forum on Tuesday, March 24th from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the Madison County Library on West Main Street in Richmond. Please contact the library for required registration. There will be an AARP driver's safety class on Tuesday, March 31st from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at the Madison County Library in Richmond. Seating is limited and reservations may be made by contacting the Madison County Library. The 23rd Annual Empty Bowls Project will be Friday, April the 3rd, 2020, at First Baptist Church on the EKU bypass. Times are 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and then also 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. That is a really, really good event to be a part of. The Richmond Chamber of Commerce monthly business and breakfast will be Thursday, April the 9th, at the EKU Perkins Building, beginning at 8 a.m. There will be a panel discussion on drug prevention efforts, treatment, and recovery. Contact the Richmond Chamber for more information and required reservations. Please don't forget about our parks as well. If you are thinking about having a birthday party, family reunion, church get-together, or some other type of event at one of the Madison County parks, now's the time to get your pavilion registrations in. Contact the Battlefield Golf Course at 624-8005 to check availability. Also wanted to give the court members an update on where we are on sale of some of our properties that we have. We actually are putting out to advertise, accepting bids for the sale of properties. We have 4 right now that we're actually getting ready to advertise for. That is the parcel 8, 9, 10, and 11. That are the parcels that are right there around the White House on 421 that we split up there. The White House that had the metal buildings, and there's a tract to the left of that off 421, and then there's a tract behind the house that is then off of one of the streets, General Cruft Drive. Will also be the lot that's out on Brea Road, parcel 11. That sits in between Battlefield Estates and Battlefield Place there, that will also be advertising for bid. The appraisals all did come back by KRS. The minimum bid must be the appraised value, which will be in the advertisement. Just to give you kind of a timeline, the request for bids will be released today. We're going to have 2 different open houses at the house. We felt like we needed to do that at the house so the people interested, potential buyers could come and see it. Obviously the lots, there's no point in that because they can go see them anytime that they would like. But the house, we're going to have open houses on March 14th, 2020, from 9 to 12 p.m. And that address on the house is 976 Battlefield Memorial Highway. Then we're also going to have another one on March 24th, 2020, from 2 to 6 p.m. And that's 976, also Battlefield Memorial Highway. Those will be the 2 open houses. The deadline to submit bids at the courthouse annex will be March 27th, 2020 at 1 p.m. Again, that is the deadline to submit the bids at the courthouse annex, which will be in our office. March 27th, 2020 at 1 p.m. And then we will immediately follow that at 1:15 in opening the bids at the courtroom. We feel like there'll be quite a few people there, so we'll just walk the bids over to the fiscal courtroom and we'll open them all then. So I just wanted to give y'all an update. This advertisement will be going out for the sale of those properties up to this point. Next, comments from magistrates. Tom.
Last week, we went to the Magistrates Conference over in Lexington, and there was a lot of good information that was put out there, actually more so than some that we attended, but it was actually a good conference, and like we said at all of them, you go to one, a lot of times you hear the same things, but you always pick up something, and this one was no different. So we were thankful to be able to go to that. On returning from that, then this weekend we had the opportunity to ride around in our district, or at least I did, and look for projects, things for secondary, our secondary route.
Rural secondary.
Rural secondary, thank you, our rural secondary.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a page full of that stuff, and not all of it's, hopefully, some of it's big projects, some of it's little projects, some of it may be useless to you, I don't know. Some of, matter of fact, it's county roads, we need a few signs put up.
Yeah.
But was glad to get that done and glad to get caught up on that part of it. The big topic, of course, today, and every time you turn the TV on, every time you turn the radio on, every time you turn around, is the coronavirus. And, we've been through measles, we've been through mumps, we've been through chicken pox, we've eradicated every kind of disease basically that there is, and there's always going to be a new something come up. And as diseases come and as diseases go, and you know, from being in the military, I was in 17 different countries from time to time, you're always exposed to something. The main thing about that, and the main thing I'd like to say about that, is don't panic. There's no need to panic. When the governor gets ready for us to panic, I'm sure he'll get up there and tell us to panic. But right now, there's no need to. We don't have Storm Walmart, and Kroger still got plenty of stuff. There's no need to panic. It's all about common sense. We've heard them say over and over and over to wash your hands repeatedly, 20 seconds, soap. You know, they say that they're selling out of the pump sterile soap. You can mix alcohol with aloe vera, 60% mixed in, shake. You got the same thing. So the main thing about it is there's, you know, we're all in this together. We're all going to be in it together. Just use your head, stay calm. And let's just get through this. There's been others. We'll get through this one.
Thanks, Tom. John?
As y'all know, winter's been kind of wet and rough on the roads this winter. A lot of potholes out there. If you have a pothole in 3rd District or one of the other districts, call your magistrate. You can reach me at 661-0044. Just report a pothole, and we'll try to get out there and get it patched. We'll try to, can't promise it, but as often as we can, use the hot patch. The cold patches we know don't stay in there. And so if we don't patch it with the hot patch wagon, wet weather, it works back out in a day or two. I was out walking Whitehall Park Sunday, and there was about 20 people out there fishing, getting out and enjoying the sunshine, enjoying the lake. That's a good thing, but I want to also remind you, please take your fishing license with you. A game warden pulled up and he commenced walking the lake, and I think everyone but a few had their license, and that was good. But some of those guys, he may gave them a warning. But if you're going to go fish on public land, make sure, or anywhere, you need a fishing license. Get out and use your parks. That's what they're there for. Gary was here, and he's got a full crew out at the golf course now. So warm weather, if you're a golfer, get out to Battlefield and play Battlefield. It's a really nice course. It's less expensive than any course in the county, and you'll have a good time. Take a partner out there, and if you haven't begun playing golf, take it up. I'm sure you can find somebody to give you a lesson out there. Gary recommends somebody, I'm sure. The bathrooms at the parks should be reopening this week. They still had a porta potty out at Whitehall, but I'm sure the bathrooms, the freezing weather's almost over, will be opening this week. Any needs at the park, like the judge said, call 624-8005. I want to announce that Saturday down at Union City Ruatan Club, there will be a pancake breakfast. It's open to the public. They usually have a good turnout and some good pancakes and sausage down there. Saturday 7 to 10. And also the Waco Baptist Church on Saturday will have a blood drive out at Waco. So please participate in all those events.
Thanks, John. Raj?
Weather report this morning, extended weather report, was a wet spring. So that's not too good on the potholes or the golf course about getting work done. But in between, we've done it before. You can just have to wait till it dries enough till you can do your work. Tom had mentioned the conference. It was a good conference. I won't go into any details, but I mentioned before about the shoes. They asked us to bring 2 pair of shoes this time, so I don't know the number that we had this year. They didn't tell us, but they told us the ones that was brought last year was 400. That's a pretty good amount, and I'm sure we probably brought more this year than we did last year. So eager to hear what number it was for this time. Had something else, but I've already forgot what it was. I didn't write it down. That's all I got.
Thanks, Raj. Larry?
Judge, I just want to thank Stevie Brock for his time that he put in with the county, and he was an excellent worker, and I talked to Scott about him, and I mean, he was willing to do anything. He'd be a hard man to replace. Yeah. But I want to thank him for his service and his time. I I don't think he's ever been wrote up for nothing.
It's a good one.
Yeah, he is. Other than that, Judge, I don't have anything. I'm just glad to be here.
Glad you're here, Larry. Thanks. Glad you're back.
Judge, I need to add something.
Sure.
Several months ago, the sheriff donated well, I say donated, he signed over a Hummer out to the airport to help them. And I was out there several weeks ago and talking to them, and they have that fitted. They sent it off and had it retrofitted and had a snowplow put on it. So, you know, they can help us keep the runway clean out there, and they were really appreciative of that, and they wanted us to be sure and just make sure that the sheriff knew that they appreciated that, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks. Kenny?
Oh, everything.
Jenny?
No, sir.
Sheriff?
Yes, sir. On the 19th, I asked for a budget request to have an amendment on it, and that's kind of what he mentioned there. I didn't know if it was appropriate to be looked at today. Or
Yeah, sure, Sheriff. And I apologize, Sheriff. You did send it,
Yeah.
and I forgot.
That's all right.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I didn't see it on the agenda, and I didn't.
No, I am. It was supposed to be on today's agenda, but I let it slip by, so I apologize.
But if it's okay, I'd like to bring up to the court that we're requesting that the proceeds of $20,390 that we had a sale that Supervisor Scott Shepherd of the Road Department did a auction, and we recovered the $20,390 from the sale of 2 Hummers. And these Hummers, actually, we had 6 altogether that we got through the military. They've been a great asset to us. 2 of them were, actually 3 of them we're keeping. 1 was issued to the airport. 2 of them we put up for sale. And one of those Hummers brought $10,650. Like I said, this was no cost at all to the county when we received these. The other one brought $8,550. And then we had the stolen vehicle that was recovered in the north end of the county, and it had been wrecked, and it was towed, and of course we were out the tow bill, and the owner of the vehicle didn't want to prosecute because there's a family member that had stolen it out of state. So they sent us the title, and we auctioned that vehicle off, which was a 2005 Ford Taurus, and it brought $450, enough to recover our money that we were out on it for the tow. And then we had 2 large safes that's been there and been like another left foot on their feet. It's, you know, they're big, they're awkward, and he also sold those for us. So we're asking to recover the money, and hopefully this money can be used in their shortfall of our budget for vehicle maintenance, as well as possibility of utilizing at 12,000 or 14,000 of that for a part-time
Court security.
officer. So I'd like to bring that before the court.
Thanks, Sheriff. Again, guys, y'all had a letter, I think, from the sheriff in y'all's boxes. And I, again, apologize, Sheriff, it wasn't on court today's agenda.
I didn't see it.
I'm glad you brought it up. So what's the pleasure of the court in fulfilling the request of our sheriff? What was that total again, Sheriff? Can you?
$20,390, and to my knowledge, Scott may speak on this, but I think that money went straight to the general fund. And we just asked for it to be transferred over to our budget to make an amendment on our budget.
Right. And this was all sold on Gov Deals, is that correct? Went through, yeah, okay. So, Sheriff, on a budget amendment, will you have to, you'll actually, Glenna, you'll have to help a little bit here, but he'll have to get us to approve that budget amendment, correct?
No, I'm not sure, because I don't work with their budgets, that we're gonna have to check the DOT on that.
Okay.
We won't have to do anything, but they know.
Kenny, when you have budget amendments, Kenny, don't we approve those budget amendments?
He's saying that the money went into your
It's
general
American.
fund.
We're gonna write a check back to
He wants the
Yeah,
money
just-
back,
Just
and,
retrieve the money.
and then.
Yeah, I understand that, but he
I don't
just,
know
he
what
just
line-
said about amending his
He
budget.
can, depends on where he is on his lines on his budget. If
I
he's,
think it has to be amended.
Yeah, have to go through the Department of Local Government because if
he'll
you
have to go
don't,
through DLG,
it
and
won't be
then
accounted
Right.
for.
if you're amended, you guys approve our budget in whole.
Right, that's exactly right. Being a fee county,
So we can move money around however we want to. If there's room in a, I don't know what category, what line I may go on the general ledger, but if there's room in there, you could add that money in there without revising your entire budget,
okay.
unless it's going to change the bottom line.
Well, at this time, I think it would be fine for us to approve, if it's the pleasure of the court to approve this. And then, depending on Department of Local Government's rules about his budget amendment, then he would either, could or could not have to bring it back to the court.
I make that motion.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second to give that $20,390 back to the sheriff for his operational budget, where his budget was cut short this year. Is that fair, Counselor? Is the motion? All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion at this time?
I think this is the best thing to do, Judge, since this money was obtained from vehicles that he was able to get from the Department of the Army, and this was not anything that the county actually owned. It was through the Sheriff's Department, and I think with Sheriff Cole's shortcoming in his budget, I think this is the best way to handle this.
Thank you. Anything else? All right, call the roll, Kenny.
Master Berger,
Yes.
Clerk Barger, sorry.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Buckin,
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thanks, Sheriff. Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Yep. Steve?
Just a quick update on the jail numbers. Would like to brief everybody. Our numbers continue to go down slowly. We're currently at 326 in-house, 52 on home incarceration, and we've moved all of our out-of-county inmates. We only have 12 still in Casey County. The only reason I haven't brought those back is that I'm trying to hold some cells open for some maintenance. So then I can transfer the inmates around the jail. And those inmates in Casey County, really, their per diem rate is less than ours. So to have inmates down there really isn't costing us any extra money.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. All right. Let's see. Magistrates, department heads. Gary?
Yeah, just a quick update, because it was brought up. Right now, we have 22 outings or tournaments scheduled at Battlefield. That's up from about 4. That's up 4 over last year. We're starting to get reservations for the parks like mad, so that's a good thing. And just so you know, over this weekend, we had 80 players Saturday, over 105 Sunday, and yesterday we had about 70. So people are starting to come back as soon as the weather breaks.
Okay. Thanks. Appreciate it. Anybody else? Any department heads? Comments from the audience? We really only have one, Mr. Taylor. And no comment. It's good you're here, man. I appreciate you always being here. Next, I need a motion and a second to pay the claims and approve the transfers.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Go ahead, Kenny. Call
Master
roll.
Tudor,
Yes.
Master Buckin.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Master Berger.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next meeting will be March 24th, 2020. That will be back in Richmond at the Madison County Courthouse Fiscal Courtroom. Again, next meeting's March 24th, 2020, back in the Madison County Fiscal Courtroom in Richmond. I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
So move.
Call the roll.
Master Buckin.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Master Berger.
Yes.
Master Tudor.
Yes.